Doomslayer. The Doomslayer is, quite literally, the demon's worst nightmare. He's been slaughtering demons in hell for so long that he's become a living legend among them. His Praetor suit gives him insane durability, but his true power comes from divine energy granted by the Seraphim. What makes him truly terrifying, in my opinion, is that he grows stronger with every demon he kills. This ability, known as Destruction Empowerment, creates an endless cycle of power. The more enemies he destroys, the stronger he becomes. By absorbing Argent energy, he constantly replenishes his health, armor, and ammo. Glory kills let him brutally finish enemies while healing himself at the same time. His weapon arsenal is ridiculous. The BFG 9000 alone can wipe out dozens of demons in a single shot. Add the super shotgun rocket launcher and the Crucible energy blade, and you get pure chaos. But what really defines the Doomslayer is his rage. His willpower is unstoppable. He was imprisoned in hell twice, and both times he came back. He even defeated godlike beings such as the Khan Maker. The Doomslayer isn't just powerful, he is God's wrath made flesh. Bayonetta. Bayonetta is one of the last members of the Umbra Witch clan, and honestly, she constantly does the impossible. She wears guns on her heels, creates clothing from her hair, and uses that same hair to summon massive demons. Let's be real, no character in gaming is more stylish than Bayonetta. Her Witch Time ability makes her nearly untouchable. By dodging at the last second, she slows time, or speeds herself up depending on how you interpret it, and unleashes a ridiculous number of attacks. This single mechanic completely changes the flow of combat. Her true terror, though, comes from wicked weaves and infernal demon summoning. She forms gigantic limbs from her hair and calls forth demons like Madama Butterfly. In Bayonetta 3, the demon slave system lets her directly control kaiju-sized demons, Godzilla-level monsters that obey her commands. Thanks to Umbra Witch contracts, she's semi-immortal, insanely durable, and overwhelmingly strong. She even punches creator gods like Jubileus straight into the sun. Her combat feels like a dance, every move dripping with style. Bayonetta isn't just powerful, she's a performance artist, and her enemies are nothing more than extras on her stage. Dante. Dante is a half-demon, half-human, and in my opinion, that balance is exactly what makes him so dominant. As the son of the legendary demon Sparta, he possesses both human emotion and demonic power, and he's spent his entire life mastering both. His versatility is unmatched. He can instantly switch between 4 combat styles: Trickster for mobility and dodging, Swordmaster for extended melee combos, Gunslinger for advanced gunplay, and Royal Guard, which allows him to absorb enemy attacks and unleash that stored energy in a single devastating counter. Royal Guard, in particular, is absolutely insane when mastered. Devil Trigger transforms Dante into a full demon, massively boosting his strength, speed, durability, and regeneration. Sin Devil Trigger takes this even further, turning him into a near god who can obliterate bosses in seconds. Rebellion, Ebony, and Ivory, Devil Sword Dante, every weapon feels perfectly suited to his style. And let's not forget, Dante defeated Mundus, the king of the demon world, fights Virgil as an equal, and does all of this while cracking jokes. Personally, I can't think of another character this powerful who stays this relaxed. When someone can return from the brink of death talking about pizza, you know they're built different. Raiden. Raiden might be the character who went through the biggest transformation in the Metal Gear series. Once a young and inexperienced soldier, he becomes a full-blown cyborg ninja in Rising. Almost his entire body is rebuilt with carbon nanotube technology, turning him into a superhuman killing machine. Blade mode is honestly insane. He can slow down time and slice enemies with surgical precision. He's strong enough to lift and tear apart massive machines like Metal Gear Ray. When he enters Ripper mode, he loses control and taps into his suppressed trauma, becoming even more dangerous. His high-frequency blade vibrates at a molecular level, allowing him to cut through tank armor like butter. Ninja Run lets him dodge bullet storms, and his parry system rewards perfect timing. Zandatsu, where he rips out enemies' spines to absorb energy, is both horrifying and incredibly effective. Beating Senator Armstrong, powered by nanomachines, really shows how far Raiden has evolved. Cloud Strife. With his spiky blonde hair and massive sword, Cloud is easily one of the most iconic characters in gaming history. But in my opinion, he's also one of the most complex and one of the strongest characters Final Fantasy VII has ever created. Claiming to be a former first-class soldier, this ex-mercenary wields the legendary Buster Sword and pulls off feats that feel almost unreal. But what truly makes Cloud powerful isn't just his blade. His body, enhanced by Mako energy, pushes him far beyond the limits of normal humans. When it comes to raw power, I'd honestly say Cloud is an absolute machine. He can wipe out multiple enemies with a single swing, and his limit break abilities deal insane amounts of damage. Omnislash in particular is pure devastation. 15 consecutive strikes that shred almost anything in his path. Thanks to the materia system, he can also cast powerful magic, making him both physically dominant and magically versatile. Being able to switch between Operator and Punisher modes makes him incredibly flexible in combat. And did you know that in Punisher mode, he automatically counters incoming physical attacks? On top of that, Cloud managed to defeat Sephiroth, a near god-level enemy. To me, Cloud's real strength isn't limitless power, but his ability to win through strategy, determination, and sheer will. Sometimes it's not raw strength, but resolve that defines true power. Alex Mercer. Alex Mercer might be the most unusual character on this list because technically he isn't human. He's the Blacklight virus given consciousness. When the original Alex Mercer died, the virus copied his memories and appearance, essentially recreating him. Every single cell in his body, including his clothes, is made of the virus. His shape-shifting abilities are borderline limitless. He can turn his arms into blades, whips, claws, or massive hammers. In armor mode, he's nearly indestructible, and in shield mode, he can deflect rockets. His most brutal ability is Consume. By absorbing someone, he gains their memories, skills, and even their identity. Absorb a general, and he becomes a general. Absorb a scientist, and he gains all their knowledge. His durability is absurd. He survived a nuclear explosion, rebuilt himself by consuming a single crow, and went right back to fighting. He can battle tanks, helicopters, and entire armies. His devastator attacks can wipe out everything around him. By Prototype 2, his power reaches such a level that he reinfects New York simply out of rage. To me, Alex is terrifying because he's lost all sense of humanity. There are no moral limits left. Death. Death is the oldest and, in my opinion, the most powerful character in the Darksiders series. As the leader of the 4 Horsemen of the Apocalypse, he's far more experienced than his siblings. This isn't just a cool name. Death is literally the embodiment of death itself. Wielding dual scythes, Death is incredibly agile. He can run on walls, leap across massive gaps, and tear enemies apart in seconds, but his true power emerges in Reaper form. When activated, he transforms into a skeletal figure with massive wings, and his strength skyrockets. In this state, even boss enemies can be melted in moments. With Death Grip, he can pull himself toward enemies or distant points. Voidwalker lets him open portals, and his necromancer abilities allow him to raise the dead and make them fight for him. The scary part? He's this powerful without even receiving the full blessing of the Charred Council. Throughout the game, he's not at full strength, yet he still stands against gods and ancient beings. Personally, I don't even want to imagine what Death would be like at his absolute peak. Talion. Talion is, in my opinion, one of the most fascinating characters ever created within the Lord of the Rings universe. Once a Gondorian ranger who lost his family, he merges with the elven spirit Celebrimbor and becomes an immortal engine of vengeance. Imagine dying, coming back to life, and gaining access to ancient elven magic. That's Talion in a nutshell. His bond with Celebrimbor grants him terrifying abilities. Using wraith powers, he can dominate enemies' minds and force them into his army. With Shadow Strike, he can instantly teleport to enemies and strike without warning. But what really makes him brutal is his ability to take control of Sauron's forces. Thanks to the Nemesis system, even orc generals can become nothing more than his puppets. Later in the story, when Celebrimbor abandons him, Talion makes an even darker choice. He puts on Isildur's ring and willingly becomes a Nazgul. From that point on, he keeps his immortality and wraith powers, but takes on a ghostly green form. For decades, he holds back Sauron's armies entirely on his own. To me, Talion is a truly tragic hero, condemned to fight forever, with no real end to his war.